everyone, and welcome back to Maple Leaf Reviews. I'm Jeffrey.
I'm Jacob.
And what are we doing today?
Today we're doing a before and after?
Yeah, I think so. Of Dokmus?
Dokmus, yeah, something like that.
Remind me one more time. What's the before and after?
Before and after is where we take a look at the game. We give you our expectations before we've ever played the game. We just learn the rules and that's it. Then we're going to play it one time, come back, give you our initial impressions of how we felt after that first play.
So, going into this one, this is a game that you picked up.
Yep.
My first thought is, how in the world did you find out about this game?
Right.
I've never heard of it. When you said, hey, let's get it to the table, I was like, I really showed no interest whatsoever.
Right.
But you said it was a quick game, so I thought I would give it a try.
Right. So I was actually just scrolling through Twitter. I saw someone had a photo up on Twitter of it, and I was like, hey, that looks interesting. What is this game? They told me. I looked it up on Board Game Geek, watched a video review, and I was like, hey, that sounds fairly neat. Yeah. It's just an abstract game, but it felt like it had a little bit of meat to it, right. And I wanted to give it a try.
So yeah, I've kind of given away my expectations going in. I really have none, basically. But what are yours?
Well, I have several different expectations for this game. One is that I feel like you don't have very many options in the beginning of the game. You start off with one little guy on the board, and the board's made up of 8 different tiles, and you can only go adjacent to where you already exist. So you're kind of limited. The first couple rounds, I think, are going to go very quick because you don't have, and you can't expand out.
You only get 3 pieces to place with.
Exactly.
So it's not like you have 40 pieces that you're going to be going around everywhere. You have 3 pieces. There's only so much you can do with that.
Exactly. Then once you hit the middle of the game, you're going to have a lot more pieces out on the board. So then you're going to have so many more options. You're going to be looking at what your opponents can do as well, because they're going to have a ton of pieces on the board. So I think the longer the game goes, the slower the rounds are going to get, and it's an 8-round game. Right.
So for me as well, the thing that I'm not really looking forward to, and I think the game will become this, is it's just going to be about, I'll go here and get 3 points, I'll go here and get 2 points. Sure. So I want to get on an extra tile, so that puts me up one more step, so I get more points at the end of the game. I see it's just points, just trying to get points by placing tokens.
That is definitely all it is. I mean, you're just trying to get next to a temple, and that gives you points. And you're trying to do that on all 8 different tiles, because the more you expand across these tiles, the more points you're going to get for doing that. Yeah. So it definitely is going to be a kind of, I just move here just for the sole purpose of getting points.
And the other thing, too, that I just thought of is because you have limited number of pieces, I don't think you're going to be able to respond very quickly to what your opponents are going to be doing. It's not like you can set up these big plays. You have 3 pieces that you can move. It's not going to be a huge tactical battle. It's step by step.
You're definitely going to see your opponents coming and the different things that they can do. However,
you have a guy on top of a mountain. He's a scout looking at it. It's like, yeah, they're coming. 3 more weeks, they're going to be here.
Sure. The kind of where the game gets a little unique is there are special powers that can happen. One that will rotate a tile. So you might be on the edge of this tile over here in the corner. You rotate it. Now you've already jumped 7 spaces over this way. So you can jump on a map maybe where someone isn't expecting, or you can block someone because you can never occupy the same space as someone else. Yeah. One of the other actions is you can actually pick up one of the tiles and slide it into an empty space. It's a 3x3 grid, and there's always one empty space, and you can slide vertically or horizontally into that space with this special action.
Yeah, I think the special powers will make the game more fluid. I think for sure they're pretty powerful.
Yeah, it's going to add some definite tactics to what you're doing, blocking people.
Anything else that you wanted to say?
The last thing is kind of a unique one, and I think that this game might be a 3x abstract game.
Right.
In that, first thing that you're going to be doing is trying to explore. You're going to try and get onto each of the tiles as fast as you can, because you're getting points based off each tile that you're on, adjacent to these point values. From there, you're going to want to expand, and this is going to be somewhere in the middle of the game. Right. You're going to try and expand out from where all your different guys are, because you can only be adjacent or only move adjacent to where you already are on the map. Right. So now you've expanded across everything.
So that's 2. X's.
2, and you're just trying to get to these points. Third one's going to be exploit. In the last couple rounds, it's just going to be a cash grab to try and grab whatever you can that's left over adjacent to next wherever you are on the board. And that's going to be it.
Yeah, I think so. For me, going into the last round, I'm not really expecting, because I think the board is so big for the number of players and the number of player pieces that you have. I'm not really seeing the board going to be filled out that much. So it'll be interesting if at the end of the game it's like, I had a hard time getting next to any more points at the end. Mm-hmm. I think the points will still be just as plentiful at the end as they are going to be at the beginning. So I'm not really seeing that exploitation coming in right now. But let's get it to the table, come back and see what we think of Dokmus.
Dokmus.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We just finished our first play of Dokmus, however you want to pronounce it. A little bit of background into our first play. We played it 3-player, and it took us 36 minutes, so it moved by pretty quick.
Yeah, it moved really well for a learning game, right?
Yeah.
It was fairly simple. I mean, the actions were very straightforward. There are a few exceptions. How did you feel about the exceptions to the rules, where it's just like you move along water into a forest and you don't have to sacrifice an extra guy?
It wasn't...
when a temple is adjacent to water, you can move through it as though...
Right. I didn't find it too difficult to keep track of. Like, there's not that much rules happening, so it's not overly complicated. The one thing that you mentioned in the expectation was you felt that it would bog down towards the end.
Yeah.
I did not feel that. I felt it was pretty stable all throughout. Maybe the first 2 rounds were a little bit quicker.
Sure.
But once it got even to like the 3rd round, I felt the turns were taking about the same amount of time.
Right. It was just really the very last turn. I had some AP. I was just like, I got to be able to make this work. I got to squeeze out a couple more points. And finally, I ended up taking my turn. And after I took my turn and passed it over to the next person, I realized I could have done a big play, which would have got me 6 more points.
Yeah, and like I was saying, there isn't like a progression in the game. It's not like you're going to be doing that much more on your last turn than on your first turn. So the ability to make those big plays is present right from the very beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have the same number of actions from the very beginning.
Maybe a little tiny bit more in the later game because you
are spread
explored
out more.
A little bit more. You're adjacent to the ruins, and the ruin tiles that you can step onto allow you to have another bonus action, which can provide for some really significant plays.
Yeah. So, what did you think of it?
I enjoyed it. I thought it didn't blow me out of the water. I wasn't just like, oh man, this game's amazing. I gotta play it again right now.
Get to the table.
But I was like, that was fun. That was interesting.
I liked it more than I thought I would. Like, I did not dislike my play, but I'm not like you jumping in my pants to get it to the table. But if someone said, hey, do you want to play a quick game of this? I'd be like, yeah, sure, I could do it.
Yeah, and for such a short playtime, you could power out a game pretty quickly, especially if once you're familiar with how everything goes and you have a strategy in mind of what maybe you want to try this game. Right. So pretty quick.
Also, like I said, at the end of the game, I didn't think there'd be a whole lot of exploitation of other people.
Right.
I felt that I had a couple good moves that I could make that were pretty similar. So it was just about being able to make one of those. So I didn't really feel like, oh, I'm going to make this big move to block someone. Right. There was a few times where I'm like, I'm going to make it not advantageous for someone else to take that action.
right.
Because it would take them 3 actions to get around me, and that would be their entire turn.
Right.
So there was a little bit of that, but it wasn't too much either way. It wasn't like I felt I was overly blocked because I had other options that I could do, and it didn't feel like I was overly blocking other people. Right. It was kind of middle of the road. I'm just going to step in your way a little bit.
I think I made one play to block you throughout the game, and that was about it.
Yeah.
And then you blocked me once or twice, I think, with a play. So, there wasn't too much take that in there.
No, you're not going to flip the table when someone steps into a space. Well, this is over.
and I agree with you about the exploitation. More so with the fact that I was saying in the beginning you would be exploring and then expanding, and I feel like there were strategies where you could just sit in your home base and just explore that whole thing, and then late game do your exploring. Right, it's not like right off the bat you need to explore everything.
Right. So all right, well that's Dokmus.
Actually, there's one more question I wanted to ask you. How did you feel about drafting turn order and the special powers that came with it? Did you feel like there was anything significant there that was interesting?
I mean, there was a little bit there, but I think I'd have to play it a lot more to see if there's any nuanced things that you can do. I mean, if you're the last person to pull the tile, then you have a better idea what everyone else has taken.
Yep.
So you can plan according to that. And similarly, if you're taking the tile second, you know what the other person took. So if you need to go before them, maybe you could take a little bit better of a tile power.
Exactly.
And still go before them. So there's a little bit there, but you'd have to play it to see. And like I said, there's so many options of what you can do. It's not like, I need to do this thing. Right. Oh, you took it from me. I can't do it now. It's just... oh, I was planning on doing that. I'll just do this instead.
And the fifth action tile is any of the previous ones. Yeah. So even if someone took one of the ones that you wanted, there is a second chance to be able to get it by just going last in turn order. I didn't feel like, again, much like you, I didn't feel like it was super significant, but it was a pleasant surprise that I wasn't really anticipating going in. And I was just like, oh yeah, this is kind of neat. I know what you're going to do on your turn now based off of the tile that you picked, what special powers and options you could have. Right. So I like that.
All right, well, that's Dokmus. Don't forget to go down, like, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We love it when you guys do that.
We sure do. In the description down below, you can also find a link to our website where we talk for hours
about video games.
About about board games, Jeffrey.
Yes.
You got it wrong.
All right, see you guys next time.
Take care.